What up, bitches? It's the misanthropic one, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant/review. Today, I want to talk about this album right here. Joint album by Paul Banks and RZA. Together they're known as Banks and Steelz. And their album is known as Anything But Words. So, y'all know that I'm a fan of Wu-Tang. RZA is basically the dude who put together Wu-Tang. I mean, I'm not even gonna go into their fucking history. Y'all should already know. RZA has moved on to do scores of movies and shit like that. And I don't remember when his last solo album was, but this kind of came as a surprise to me, this album. RZA has been, doing his thing as far as movies, acting, and everything. And the reason I'm mentioning RZA so much is because I'm more familiar with him. My man Paul Banks is part of a group called Interpol, post-punk band. I never really got into post-punk like that. As far as punk rock is concerned, I like more of the original dudes, your Sid Viciouses, your Ramones, all those dudes that helped create punk, and then from that you have the offshoots. You have, bands in the genre chaos punk, psychobilly. I love all that shit. Even into pop punk, I'm a big fan of Green Day, Offspring, shit like that. Post-punk, I never really followed bands that were considered that. But now this is gonna force me to go back and look up who Interpol is. And I probably know one or two of their songs, but I just never followed them like that. I just never followed that particular genre. Not that I'm against it, I just never really bothered to follow it. Here we are. RZA actually wanted to work with Paul Banks, stated that he wanted to do some work with him. I know Paul Banks is a hip-hop head as well. He has a DJ alias known as DJ Fancy Pants, and he's done work with Talib Kweli, LP, and others before. He has some type of mixtape out. I have to really listen to it. But I know that he is a fan of hip-hop himself. So, yeah, this album was about 3 years in the making, I believe, from what I read. And it kind of took me by surprise because I didn't even know that this shit was coming out. And I think I was scrolling on undergroundhiphop.com and I happened to see RZA here on the cover. So I'm like, oh shit, he must have a new album coming out. Because, Steelz is the last name of his other alias, Bobby Steelz. So, did a little bit of research. That's what I'm spitting to you right now. Here it is. Here's the album. Let's get into the fucking artwork real quick. Boom. Front. Both these dudes are sitting there. RZA got a knife in his hand right there. On the back, you got piano or MIDI controller, what looks to be like a MPC or a machine deck right there, track listing. Open it up, kind of plain. You got brass knuckles and a knife. See, that's what would have been cool with the cover right here. Paul Banks had the brass knuckles because RZA's holding the knife just to even it out. Let me show y'all the CD real quick. right here. If you can see it reflecting off the light, it has the knife and the brass knuckles logo. And I'll show you the insert real quick. Insert is basically the cover, front cover again. And these are just the liner notes, you know, production credits and all that shit. Let's jump into that. This album was primarily produced by both RZA and Paul Banks together, but there's a few tracks, I think maybe like 1, 2, or 3 that are produced by other people. You have John Hill and Kid Harpoon. Wow, I know there was another track. Okay, Andrew Wyatt. There's another dude, Ari Levine, and yeah, that's about it. Banks and Steelz produced majority of this album. Let's get into the rest of the shit. Content-wise, it varies. I mean, if you're a fan of RZA, you already know he's like right now, with the shit he's on, he's like his consciousness, he's on a higher consciousness type tip. You know, he does rap about the street shit. He does mix that in here. He does sort of relate it sometimes to the art of war. That's how I envision it, like on tracks like One by One. You have tracks like Love and War, where it's more of shit that the modern day dude could relate to, as far as dealing with a chick and fighting with her and shit. Yeah, oh shit, I'm going into that. I didn't even go into the features on this bitch. Hang on. You got Kool Keith, Florence Welch, Ghostface Killah, Method Man, and Master Killer. Love the excuse me. Love all these features. They're not overwhelming. You have 12. Well, let me see. 12. 8, 4, 8. Yeah, 12 tracks. Method Man and Master Killer appear on the last track, Point of View. Dope posse cut. Bars amazing on there. The other ones are spread out nicely. So yeah, I guess I kind of went into that. Sound wise, I was taken by it, because at first I was kind of like cringing, but I got used to it. This album really is a sleeper to me, even though it is on Warner Brothers Records. But there wasn't a lot of noise behind it. But I'm very surprised by that album, and my rating of it, I'll give it an 8. Easy, I'll give it an 8, because I listened to this a few times. I listened to it before. Y'all know I went to Italy. This is one of the albums that I actually had in my possession as before I left. I listened to it, I believe, twice before I left on the same day, and I listened to it a couple times when I came back. Fucking great album. Check it out. Everybody else, y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe, support dope shit, and that's it. Peace, bitches.